you. I appreciate your intelligence and all your questions.
Ethan, nice to meet you. I'm Miriam Spritzer with a bunch of Brazilian outlets.
Fantastic.
I'm a huge musical theater fan, as you can probably see here. So I was wondering because Lawrence Hart is such an icon. Like, how much playing him changes the way that you listen to his music? Did that affect the way that you might listen to his tunes?
Well, I don't know. It's interesting. I might invert the question and say listening to his music impacted the way I played the part. Much more. I early on in the process, Rick and I kind of made the what we felt was a discovery that the movie should feel like a 90-minute Rodgers and Hart song. It should have the same dynamics of Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered, where it has refrains and it constantly is moving and has a bridge and then it has dissonance and resolution and so in a lot of ways Rick's job was kind of like Richard Rodgers' job, which is to create structure, a skeleton, the muscle work to hold the movie together. And my job was the lyrics and to let them kind of dance on top of it. And like a Rodgers and Hart song, we could maybe make a special movie that's different than another movie. Because, there's something about when you listen to his songs, when you listen to a lot of them, the wit, just the unbelievable wit that's happening at the same time that there's all this pathos and all this heart. Like beating physical heart inside the songs. It's very rare to have that combination of soul and wit. And that's what we wanted in the movie.
And were you concerned at all to like kind of have to transform this legend into a guy that you're playing? Like, how did you separate that, maybe that responsibility of playing this historical character in a way?
Well, I love the fact that you think he's so famous.
I mean, for my world, he is.
I know. And all my friends, he's very famous too.
Yeah.
But as we've made the movie, I've realized that most people don't know who Lorenz Hart even is. And that was a benefit to me. I think if you're playing Muhammad Ali or John Lennon or something like that, people have such built-in ideas in their head about what he looks like, what he sounds like. But with Lorenz Hart, I had immense freedom. I could take certain things. For example, you look at pictures of him and you see that his hair is dyed and you see he has a comb over and you're like, okay, this guy's very insecure about what he looks like. And you can see how diminutive he is. And then you start to like listen to the words and you realize, oh, there's a lot of things about being short. And there's a lot of, okay, all right, this is a big part of who he is. But I could take what helped me, and nobody really knows what he sounds like. You can kind of tell how smart he is by the lyrics. I mean, this is not a dumb human being. This is an educated man. This is a funny man. This is a man with profound insight. So that but I had incredible flexibility besides that.
I love something you said in an interview that he defined melancholy. I think that's the word, right? Because it is true. Like there is that element of happy, but a little bit of sad type of thing. Were you aware of that before you kind of dived into this role, or that was something that you discovered as you was preparing?
There's a lot. One of the great what the gift I would say of it's a very tedious process to memorize.
Yeah.
It's very tedious, but it's kind of a gift if you take it slowly. You internalize all these lines and you learn a lot about somebody the more you think about why they're saying everything that they're saying. And that's where I started to see the melancholy, the correlation of opposites, the way that one person could be the smallest person in the room and the biggest person in the room. He could be a homosexual and in love with a woman. How he could be destroyed by vanity and bitterness and warm and empathetic. How could all these opposites be true? Well, it's true for most of our friends and ourselves. We can be wildly incongruous all the time. And it makes us crazy and wonderful.
No, absolutely. And he did put that into his songs. Like we could see that incongruence kind of coming up. Now, you you had to go through like a huge physical change to play. I mean, just hair, makeup, everything. We don't see Ethan Hawke there. We see this character. How did that help you connect with the character as well? Like, does that play a part for you, or that's just, an added thing?
I mean, children know this. If you dress up in a tuxedo and a top hat and a cane, you start standing up straight and you start speaking in a different way. Our the thing we think of as ourself is so much more flexible than we often imagine it is. We're a different person with our grandmother than we are with a new lover, than we are with a gaggle of our friends. We're all much more expansive than we imagine. And the job of the actor is to push those limits of how you can be completely authentically yourself and completely different.
Absolutely. Well, I so appreciate the comment of Bewitched, Butter, and Bewildered, because Paul Joe is one of my favorite of musicals. So I'll see now the film again with different set of eyes. But thank you so much. What a pleasure to talking to you about this topic. And, congratulations on such an amazing performance.
Blue moon, you saw me standing alone.
Wise guy.
Without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own.
I appreciate your intelligence and all your questions. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We write together for a quarter of a century, and the first show he writes with someone else is gonna be the biggest hit he ever had. Am I bitter, Larry? Yes.